Hey there, Truffles. You know what time it is? It's time for another Songs and Stories for Hard Hitting Times. All right, let's try it again. I'm remembering the days before I went away, way back in the hills of old Vermont. And the orchard on the hill, I think I see it still, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Old microphone there. There used to be a barn near the old fishing pond, way back in the hills of old Vermont. So many fields of hay, now gone with yesterday, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Well, everything has changed, nothing stays the same, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Like the old Brand Panthers war, you won't hear that no more, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. But when the rains came down and flooded many towns, way back in the hills of old Vermont, all the neighbors lent a hand for the loving of the land, way back in the hills of old Vermont. For tonight I long to be where the catamount run free and the rattlesnake can lie out in the sun, near the voices of the loons when the apple blossoms bloom, way back in the hills of old Vermont. Oh boy, my harmonica was sliding right off of the rack here. I hate that when that happens, and I can't move my hand. Now you can see the hard-hitting times here, the struggling of trying to play with one hand. Now, the good news is, folks, that I can actually take off this sling tomorrow. That's what they say, and I have been taking it off and playing without it. But they say I got to support this hand here. And I know that a lot of folks out there have been through this whole idea of this rotator cuff or bad shoulders and stuff, and it's not an easy thing, folks, to get through. There's a lot of jumps that you have to do, and I'm sort of at this next stage where I'm going to transition slowly into doing some of the things that I used to do. But as you can see, it's still not 100% easy to do a lot of those things. No, no, not at all. And especially when things don't work like you want it to. Like I'm playing a harmonica and it grabbed my mustache and it's pulling on my mustache. And I'm like, okay, let's make this more difficult than it already is. But I'm actually doing well, folks, and I want to give a special shout out to my friends Pat and Kathleen Keeler over in Ireland uh, because they and Ben Sands and my friend Gareth's partner Judy, they've all come down with COVID. I mean, I thought we were like at this other end, at the other end, but we're still not there yet, folks. So we got to hold on to our hats because we don't know what's coming yet. And I was hoping that like right now you're walking around and everybody has their masks off and everybody's feeling really good. And I'd hate to see it change because we're just at that point where we're starting to get things back together again. And so, all right, I'm gonna put this ukulele here, the kamaka, and as you can see, I've got the running dog here. And I thought before I try to play it, because I can play it a little bit, that I would show it to you. And as you can see, I don't know how much I can get in there, that it has some pretty cool inlays on. Now this was made by Rick Davis there, and from Running Dog. He's seeking the running dog at the top there, and we kind of put this guitar together, and he said, well, what do you want on it? And so we made a very unusual kind of guitar. So this is he calls it a Sprite guitar, but it's really sort of like a size 5. Like Martin makes these size 5 guitars. They're a real guitar. It's just that the neck is shorter so that you are actually tuned up as if you put a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar, you would be in this tuning, because you're all the way up to G, so when I make an E, if I make an E like this, we get the G. That would be the G. And now these inlays on here tell a story. Now I have told this story before. I've sang the song before too, but I'm just starting to try to play again. So I thought I would share this with you again. So these are the old hobo signs that you can see on the neck here. And back in the 1930s and so, the hobos, they scratched, signs on, on a fence or maybe on a water tower or on the sidewalk with a piece of chalk. And I learned about this. I had heard about it from Utah Phillips. He wrote this really cool article in Sing Out magazine with Bodie Wagner, and it mentioned the hobo signs, but I really didn't experience it till I went down to Coffeyville, Kansas, and I was playing at a college out there, and I was staying with this woman named Zelda, and she told me the story. Now, let's see if I can do this. Get my hand here. She told me that when she was a kid, she used to see the old hobos, and they would get off the trains. They had a roundhouse over in Coffeyville, and they used to walk up and down the street, seeing if they could do a job of work in exchange for a hot meal. And Zelda's mom, she would always give them food, whether they did any work or not. And when Zelda would get up to go to school in the morning, she saw that there was a cat drawn with chalk right in front of her house. And she didn't know what that was because none of the kids had chalk quite that, like that, big, thick chalk. And years later, she found out that the hobos, they used to mark the houses that fed them. And the sign of that chalk cat is the sign of a kind-hearted woman. So after she told me that story, the next day I was doing a little concert at a school, and at lunchtime I sat down and I wrote this song. Life of a singer is a hard road to hoe, driving in the wind, the rain and the snow, all night on the highway with miles left to go, towns you never heard of, people you don't know. Chalk cat on a doorstep, smile across the face, stew pot overflowing with warmth and grace. Like her mother before her, she's gentle and kind. Way down in Kansas on the Oklahoma line. Now the hobos of yesterday would always make a sign on the doorway of someone who was so very kind. They draw a cat on the sidewalk where it wasn't hard to find, to help the next traveler ease their troubled mind. Chalk cat on a doorstep, smile across the face, stew pot overflowing with warmth and grace. Like a mother before her, she's gentle and kind. Way down in Kansas on the Oklahoma line. Now friends in towns or cities help lighten up the load, a beacon of sunshine on the dark and lonely road. We sing and talk till midnight, awaken at dawn with our sad eyes and goodbyes. We'll sing a farewell song. Chalk cat on a doorstep, smile across the face, stew pot overflowing with the warmth and grace. Like a mother before her, she's gentle and kind. Way down in Kansas on the Oklahoma line. Way down in Kansas on the Oklahoma line. Oh, the story of the chalk cat, played on this running dog guitar. Now, it was funny because of my arm, I couldn't put the new strings on it. So my friend Brian Yardwood, Brian helped me out. And as he's putting the strings on, he says, Rick, I looked inside your guitar and I don't know what's in there. It's like something, looks like some kind of dust or something in your guitar, and something's rattling. I said, oh, that's Al. He said, what? I said, oh, that's Al. Al's in here. He said, Al who? Al Gerson. When Al passed away, of course, Al gave he gave his wishes that he be cremated, and Al's ashes went out all over the place. All of his friends got a little bit of Al, and we were on the folk train. Oh, the folk train going across Canada. It started over it was in Montreal, Charlie Hunter, put it together. And Vic and Reba were on it. And there's so many wonderful people. My friend Rick Nestler was on it. Uh, Rebecca, I mean, Rachel Bissix was on there. And Eric Swartz was on there. Oh, just so many people. And we went from Montreal all the way out to Vancouver on this old, they were called Bud cars. It's sort of like a Pullman car, but it was the Canadian version. And we played music all across Canada. And this was a long time ago. This is back in year 2000, I believe. And I had called ahead to a train station in Jasper where we'd be getting off. And I arranged it that, I mean, I didn't think of it at the time. I guess today you'd call it a flash mob. Because we got off the train and we walked over and we all pulled out our instruments. All the people in the train station had no idea what was going on. And we did a big concert. Ronnie Cox was there too. Oh, just so many wonderful players. And everybody was singing and playing. And we dedicated the whole thing to Al Grierson. And we tied a bandana on, I think, Jasper the Bear outside. We were all standing around and we sang for Al in his memory. And Al unfortunately passed away in a terrible way. He was on his way back from doing a school show, and he got caught in a flash flood. And he got out of his car and he got swept away. And that was poor Al. But at the Folk Alliance, Charlie Stewart, so many people were there where everybody was talking about Al and singing songs, and everybody was given a little bit of Al. We were all given a little vial of Al. And when the Rose Tattoo got together here at our house, Utah was here, everybody was here. We all took Al and a few other old friends, and we put them in our guitars so that they can travel with us. And that's why Al is in my guitar. If you look inside, you can hear a little bit of Al. So that's what that's about. And I like these small instruments, as you can see, like these ukuleles and the banjo. This banjo here that Marvin Walker made. It's a piccolo banjo, and it has a really nice little sound to it. It's piccolo banjo because it's just like a regular banjo. It's tuned up an octave higher, so it's still the same open G, but it's like if you put your capo on the 12th fret. But you can play it the same way. Just has a little bit different sound. I was thinking, well, what am I going to play? I don't know. Well, you ought to listen. I'm going downtown, gonna get me sack of flour. Cook it every hour, keep my skillet good and greasy all the time. Skillet good and greasy all the time. Well, if you say so, I'll never work no more. Lay around your shanty all the time. Lay around your shanty all the time. I'm a-going downtown, gonna get a sack of flour. Cook it every hour, keep my skillet good and greasy all the time. Skillet good and greasy all the time. Gonna get a jug of brandy, give it all to Nancy. Gonna keep her drunk and goozy all the time, time, time. Good and drunk and goozy all the time. I'm going downtown, gonna get me sack of flour. Cook it every hour, keep my skillet good and greasy all the time, time, time. Skillet good and greasy all the time. Oh, and then you can play something like, let's see. Well, I ain't gonna work on the railroad. I ain't gonna work on the farm. Gonna lay round the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay round the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Mama was a Jimmy cake baker. Sister could weed and could spin. Papa's got an interest in that old cotton mill. My God, how that money rolls in. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay around the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Well, where were you last Friday night? While I was locked up in the jail, you were walking the streets with another old man. Wouldn't even call my bell. And I'm rolling in the sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in the sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay around the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Where you say that your parents do not like me, drive me away from the door. If I had my life to live over, I wouldn't go there anymore. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. One more time. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Gonna lay around the shack till the mail train come back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Oh, on Marvin Walker's nice little old piccolo banjo. And as you can see, he did quite a job. I'm kind of excited because Marvin is going to make a cigar box banjo for me. And it should be really kind of interesting. One of my old friends from high school, Tommy Midow, sent me a bunch of cigar boxes that he got, and some of them from Cuba, and he said that he gets them from a family over there, and he's able to give the money directly to the family, so that makes him feel really good. So he sent me one of those boxes. I sent it to Marvin, and I don't even know what Marvin's going to do, exactly. But he's an artist. You can't really tell an artist what to do. You have to, let them have fun. And I didn't know he was going to do this. If you could see, oh my gosh, you could see what this actually looks like. This is like, talk about Western art. You've got the cowboy up on the top here, and you've got the horses running over here, and you've got a cowboy hat, and I can't do it well, but there's boots. There's boots right there. And he does this all himself. Yeah. He makes all the parts himself. He's just one of those real true masters. And I'm really, really honored to have this. He calls this Mustang. He calls this Mustang. He calls it a pony banjo, but I remember it as a piccolo banjo. Well, we're almost out of time, and my hands are, it's still hurting, folks, but it's nothing compared to some of the pain that people are going through right now over in Ukraine. And I'd like to once again tell people that those folks, they need some help. My wife Mariana last night was able to make a little donation to that World Kitchens, and hopefully be able to feed some of the refugees from Ukraine, going into Poland, going into all the different countries that are bordering Ukraine. And I really do send my best wishes to the people of Ukraine. This is a terrible thing that's going on, and I don't really know when something's so bad, you don't even know what to say about it. A lot of people are out there singing songs, and I think that's an important thing, to keep up the morale and keep up the idea of that we care about people. My friend Katie Carr over in England, she's doing a lot of things. Myself, I wish I could even do more, but as you can see, usually I would be the first one out there playing some music, but I can't really do it. So have to leave it for somebody else right now until I get all better, and that'll be soon. So last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. Gonna take a little stroll downtown. Sing it with me. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Stop your rambling. Stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and your family. Stay there by the fireside bright. Well, Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. She calls me to weep. She calls me to mourn. Calls me to leave my good home. And the very last words I heard her say, honey, sing me just one more song. Last time. Irene, good night. my dreams. Everybody, have a good week. I'll see you next week, and I'll be able to maybe play some more instruments. All right. Be well. Bye-bye.